Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for checking out today's video. I am doing not the world's first nitro swap. You may have already seen this is my coworker Andrew's Mini Maxx that he changed to run with a Traxxas 2.5R. So I am not the first one to do this. We kind of came up with the idea at the same time, and he raced me to it, but he won. So I finally have all of my parts, including my new 0.15 engine. I know it's smaller, but I feel like this chassis is just 0.15 sized. He went for raw power with raw sound. Painful to actually listen to, but straight piped 2.5 with, I don't actually know, I think that's an RC10 fuel tank and separate throttle and brake servos. Anyways, I'm going for drivability, so it'll be a 0.15 because they're nice and reliable and easy to tune. Yes, on the fuel tank, and well, first we've got to pull out all this electric crap, so let's get started. If you're following along at home for some reason, Traxxas has gone the interesting route of not making this receiver waterproof on the Mini Maxx. This is how the box comes off of the center plate here. Just kind of wedges in, and the bottom of the receiver is wide open. They put this foam tape around the edge to try to help seal it, but it's not waterproof. This is splash proof, so heads up if you are a Mini Maxx owner and you like to ride in the snow. Though I did just get done riding in the snow, didn't have any problems. Okay, step one, mesh. So this is a 18-tooth Mod 8 clutch bell. The Mini Maxx stock is Mod 8 or 32-bit, so that obviously will fit. Normal, like, Traxxas Nitro Sport clutch components on this 0.15. I'm using a 3.3 engine mount, as seen on the T-Max, and of course that bolts up fine. Just got 2 screws in it to mock it up. Looks like these 2 screws on the side will make it inside the chassis. These 2 end up like underneath the center drive shaft, and there's this ledge, this little ridge of plastic, so I'm gonna have to trim that down, see if I can get this motor mount to sit underneath that center drive shaft. I really don't want to cut that off and compromise its integrity. Okay. Engine mount ground down. You can see how I took that triangle kind of gusset off. And now, with some flattening on the chassis, it fits underneath the center drive shaft. The car rolls freely. So that is going to be a nice engine mount that won't screw up everything. And now it is time to get the holes for the motor mount, which I have always found to be pretty easy with a red hot pick. Right about there. No question on where that hole is. Okay, engine's mounted up. So down here on the bottom of the engine mount, here, I'll show you. Down here on the bottom of the engine mount, I have used some gorgeous hot racing aluminum M3 standoffs. I love these things. They make my job so much easier. There's a 5mm one down there. I'm using a 14mm capped screw right down the ridge, and then I'm using more 14mm screws with 3mm spacers down here, and on the other side 3mm spacers plus a washer. So I'm changing my gear mesh by raising or lowering the motor in regards to where the spur gear sits. So with the spur gear installed here, it's nice. It's very good. And yeah, just one more on, a washer plus a 3mm standoff on one side, 3mm standoff on the other, and that gets it so buttery smooth. So engine is mounted. Let's figure everything else out now. So I basically went on a buying spree from Traxxas and got every exhaust header they make, even in that old packaging, and we're going to figure something out here. So I've got a Nitro Sport exhaust. I've moved the muffler from this end to this end so that the turn is earlier. I think I'm going to use this Nitro Rustler and then probably cut this blue one up to make that 90-degree bend. But that, the exhaust can fit inside the body. That'll look good. My fuel tank, unfortunately, is stuck pretty small. This is one of those HSP fuel tanks for their 16th scale cars. It'll run at about 7 or 8 minutes. I've spun the carburetor around so I think I'm going to mount the servo right here. So we're going to do push rod directly to the throttle, and then off of maybe this hole or this hole, a turnbuckle so that this motion linearly gets turned around to this motion so that we can do yield classic rub fuel line against the clutch bell housing. And that should be brakes. So let's see what I can figure out. Okay, I think I got it figured out. Hooked up a receiver here. Trusty MG90S. So we got throttle and brake. The throttle will run under that manifold into the throttle lever here. And then I'm going to try to figure out a turnbuckle situation there on that screw with fuel line rubbing against here and a tube of fuel line sitting down inside. So we melt the hole down in there, mount the fuel line brake, and get the turn bit and figure it out. Okay, so brakes are figured out. It's a servo that moves one of those on a very long 3mm screw with a nut on the bottom of it, and that pulls fuel line against the clutch bell, you know, as always, and it locks the tires up, so I'd say that's doing pretty good. Throttle's just going to be a straight linkage from here to the linkage on the carburetor. Should be pretty easy. Okay, so this is the horn that goes on the carburetor. But I don't have a computer radio for this. It's just going to be the stock Traxxas radio, and the servo does not have enough throw. So I have twisted this paperclip on and around, and it works, but it gets the actual push rod closer to the hinge, so it travels further. And we should be good to go now. So, excuse the mess, but the body's on it. I had to cut some for the exhaust header. I'm going to have to cut some more for the engine, and I had to cut a hole for the tuning, and I'll probably have to cut another one for the air filter, but this is it. We are ready to drive as it sits. Well, okay, I need a line from the exhaust to the fuel tank, but everything's in there. Okay, electronics are all figured out. We got the original 2-channel TQ receiver. We are running a EcoPower 450 milliamp 2S battery for a SEX24. We got throttle and brakes. That's throttle and brakes. Doing some body cutting here, cutting out the windshield for better airflow to the engine. I've got a pull start cut out. This is air filter, tuning needle, and actually the exhaust pipe. That piece of the exhaust pipe sticks out. And then on the back, the head, and in that little triangle, the head also sticks out, and a hole in the top for the glow igniter. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, creatures of the unknown, here is the world's second, because Andrew got the first one, world's second Nitro Mini Maxx. Look at how much cutting I had to do to make that exhaust fit. I kept the logo. But we got steering, throttle and brake. Stock body still. I'm going to get a new body, paint it up orange and blue. I like the orange and blue colors. But there's an overview. So we got stock electronics and drivetrain for the most part, other than added a 9-gram servo for throttle and brake. We're running a HSP fuel tank. I can't remember what size it is. It was a Traxxas 0.15, of course, with the rotary carb, with a Nitro Sport exhaust manifold, a couple of little connectors and bins, and a Nitro Sport exhaust. I like this exhaust, very nice tone. Air filter, of course. Brakes via fuel line tubing on the clutch bell, as usual. And yeah, I mean, if I really wanted to, I just need a new engine mount / gearbox cover. I could convert this back to stock electric powered, but it is up and ready. Let's see if we can get it started. I've got to break this thing in now. Need some tuning. So there we go. World's second Nitro Mini Maxx. First one is sitting in that case right there. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe. Recently I've been doing a lot of these, so yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to own one. I might make one again for sale, and we'll see you in the next one.